Good evening and welcome to the news at 1.5 end of the year special. This show is brought to you by fossilfuelsareyourfriend.org, the fluffy side of coal, oil and gas. We start our program today by revisiting what happened in Glasgow during the COP26 climate negotiations.
The 26th annual Conference of Parties hosted by the UN was probably the biggest climate event this year, and also a lobbying jamboree for big polluters. In fact, there were over 500 fossil fuel lobbyists walking around the negotiating halls at COP26, enjoying access to the people and the meetings where important discussions were taking place. The fossil fuel industry had the largest delegation at COP26, with more representatives at the talks than any single government. But who are the lobbyists and what do they look like? Our local correspondent in Scotland was on the ground to find out.
Thank you, Gary. This is Kat reporting for the news at 1.5, and today I'm here outside the COP26 Green Zone in Glasgow, and we're here to see if we can spot some lobbyists. Now, this place is crawling with lobbyists, but they blend very well into the Glasgow population, so we're seeing if we can find some distinguishing features to spot them.
Here we've got the CEO of BP, Bernard Looney. What creature does he remind you of?
You might be looking for the answer snake. Or you definitely are like
I prefer rat.
a platypus.
Platypus.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
Is he dangerous?
He is. He's very dangerous.
I think it is carbon dioxide. I think he reminds me of Dobby from Harry Potter.
Yeah. Dobby. Yeah. Okay. This is Will Gardner, the CEO of Drax.
You know those like big Australian animals that come up and eat children? That's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Perfect.
what you're talking about, but yeah.
Some are really big.
We'll find it, yeah. This is David Hone. He's the Chief Scientific Advisor for Shell. Wondering, how do you think we can spot a creature like this out in the wild?
Sticking to dark space is probably not very good with sunlight. Being scared of facts, like if you take a piece of paper and write like just a simple fact or this and then they run away.
Back to you, Gary.
Who's Gary?
Thank you, Kat. So in conclusion, if you are passing by Parliament or any place where you might find politicians, please beware of these creatures. According to reliable sources, they can be found in a capital city near you. And if you do happen to see them, don't move. We have it in good authority that they can't see you if you stay still.
What? Why would you do that? Go up and tell them to get lost. We don't want them anywhere near our parliament or our politicians. There are also sightings of fossil fuel industry lobbyists inside COP26, where they were taking part in side events. The senior vice president of BP, Nigel Dunn, was invited to discuss the energy transition alongside the head of the Strategy and Innovations Department at Gazprom. Both men tried to claim fossil fuels would continue to be an important part of the energy mix in the future. They were confronted by activists and Mr. Dunn tried to run from the reporters.
Even before the talks began, there were calls from groups around the world to kick polluters out of COP26. These only grew louder as the summit went on, but kicking them out brings up a very difficult question. Where would they all go? We asked the crowds in Glasgow.
In the sea. Keep them in the ground.
We should just keep them in the ground. We shouldn't take them anywhere.
Embaixo da terra, num buraco.
in landfill sites.
They should go into like a rehab center where they learn to love the earth.
Serene and calmly.
Fossilize them.
Yeah.
We should probably put them in Venus because that's where everything is really hot and we can proper burn them.
Probably somewhere in space. Yeah, the coldest one, so they could freeze.
Flash flood, droughts, hurricanes and heat waves have already had a devastating effect on local communities and environments, leading up to uncountable victims. The global warming caused by climate change is approaching a point of no return. CO2 emissions from the burning of fossil fuels are the #1 cause of climate change. So how can these fossil fuels lobbyists sleep at night? Where is their conscience?
Well, our producer is telling me our sponsors are not directly responsible for anything, and I'm sure they're just like other people, they have souls.
Do they? Really?
Back to COP26, Jair Bolsonaro agreed to stop illegal deforestation until 2028. And the other political leaders have achieved a consensus around Around...
Of course they have. Around blah blah blah. Let's hear what activists in the streets of Glasgow found to be the biggest political lie at COP26.
Thank you, Gary. So we are here at COP26, where we have heard politicians talk a lot. But what have they actually said? I'm here with these wonderful protesters to find out what the biggest bullshit of the week is. Let's find out.
Using the words of activists like climate justice and stuff, pretending that that's something that they care about.
Saying they don't have enough money.
No, there is no pollution.
That we will tackle this today, or over this, that everything will be sorted over the next 2 weeks.
Ignoring the 1.5 degree cap.
Net zero target for 2070.
The whole net zero concept.
Net zero.
Net zero.
Yeah. Offsets, carbon offsets.
Net zero. That we can save the climate but still keep polluting.
Green capitalism.
Capitalism can exist with saving the planet.
That the climate crisis is a good business opportunity.
Oh my God. I am definitely not Gary.
But viewers, politicians are also human, and many really struggle to understand what doing the right thing really means. Here at News at 1.5 we are doing our best to help through Agony Aunt Aneesa.
Welcome everyone to Agony Aunt Aneesa. Today I have a letter from a very special little young old man. So, here's what it says. Dear Aneesa, I am the leader of a global superpower. I can't really say who I am for security reasons, but I have a question for you. I am about to be at a meeting with multiple of my peers, and I want to appear extremely cool to them. And I also want to appeal to the youths. To me, it feels like I should probably be talking about the climate crisis. Do you have any advice for how I can be cool? I think that the only way I could explain this in a way that you would understand is probably very, very simply. And here's how I would do it. So extracting fossil fuels, burning, like lighting them up on fire, burning fossil fuels, and storing fossil fuels, it's all really bad. Like B-A-D bad. But keeping fossil fuels in the ground, that's really good. Like super good. And it really is just that simple. Thank you for reaching out. I really appreciate it. And good luck. You need it. And also, the power of the world lies in your hands, so you should probably do something about it.
Who the fuck is Gary?
We are running out of time, our house is on fire, and we have to act now. We can do it together, build a new world, lead a justice transition towards a new society and a new economy, leave fossil fuels on the ground.
I'm not sure we are allowed to say that. Our sponsors say that there is still a debate around the science.
And big polluters cannot be a part of the solution, they are the problem. The solution is climate justice. Poorer countries should not pay the price for rich countries and their corporations continuing with business as usual. The solution is climate jobs for everyone in the world, with dignity and fairness. And this world is not possible under capitalism.
Oh dear.
We need system change, not climate change, and we need it now.
Shit, they've pulled our sponsorship. Cut to the weather.
Thank you, Gary. Sounds like you all have your hands full in the studio. Let's take a quick look back at how the weather was leading up to COP26. If we got back to October, in the month leading up to COP26, we experienced a very peculiar weather pattern. Starting in Europe, but with patches in North America and across the Atlantic, we saw a big front of corporate greenwashing, subsequently made its way across the Atlantic and over the English Channel and up through the UK, settling in Glasgow until mid-November. As predicted, November saw increasing quantities of hot air, primarily concentrated around the COP26 conference centre in Glasgow. This was due to the large number of fossil fuel lobbyists present, who couldn't help but claim they were part of the solution, a.k.a. keep going with business as usual, a.k.a. blah blah blah, a.k.a. heard it all before. If we now look to the next few weeks, according to our satellite data modeling, we are also expecting to see a growing youth climate justice movement here, 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 and here. Actually, everywhere, calling on governments to kick polluters out of politics. If you've not been involved before, perhaps best to be on the safe side and make a placard or two just in case and join the movement.
Thank you. We've reached the end of the news at 1.5 special. Back to you, Gary.